Well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to this thinQ Voice and Messaging Solution Product Tour. My name is Tim McLean. I'm the Director of Marketing here at thinQ in Raleigh, North Carolina. Really excited to have all of you with us today. And I want to take about 10 minutes or so to give you a very brief overview of all the different solutions that thinQ has to offer. So let's just jump right in. First is, we're really known for our toll-free voice product that is now basically 10 years old. And there really is nothing else like it on the market today, because really what you get is the chance to leverage all 5 of our toll-free carriers here domestically. You can fully customize your routing profiles. And we really use least cost routing, a least cost routing engine, which allows you to make sure that when you're processing your toll-free calls, that our engine will not only allow that call to go across the 5 carriers, but find the lowest cost route for the call from the beginning to the end point. And that saves a lot of our folks a lot of money. We also make it really easy to number, port, and provision toll-free numbers. And you really do get that disaster recovery technology to mitigate outages. And the way that works is that you can use our granular call analytics to pull PCAP records for all the calls that you make, and you can actually see if you're having a call quality issue, a deliverability issue, if something doesn't sound quite right. You can use our tools to go find out, and trace the entire SIP ladder of a SIP call with a PCAP and say, oh, this carrier down here at the end is having issues today in this location. Then you can log in and you can actually place a temporary route block. Make sure that will not continue to be a problem in your call center or however you're using your header number. Then you move on with your day. So I mentioned earlier that, again, thinQ is very well known for its toll-free voice solution, its least cost routing engine. And it really is one of the number one things that we're known for. And if you have toll-free at sort of any capacity for any need, we are the best choice for you, for sure. Next is just general call routing. And the reason this is separate is, you think, because we do domestic toll-free as well as international. So you can use our cloud-based platform and our APIs to really control your call routing. So we have 40 total carriers that you can put your calls through. That is the summation of our domestic toll-free and international carriers all put together. And when you decide to allow your calls to, traverse our 40 carriers, you basically get access to and the ability to set up call profiles, routing profiles, and choose which of those providers get your traffic. You can turn them all on. You can turn 10 or 20 or 30 of them on, whatever you want. And then you can use our LCR, our least cost routing engine, to make sure that you get automatic savings, because the more carriers you turn on, the more routes that our technology has the ability to route your calls through automatically without you doing anything except for choosing them and putting them in route, and you get those savings. So again, we do call routing for domestic, toll-free, international. Again, you get that dynamic failover, disaster mitigation, so that if you have any sort of an issue in any location, you can turn carriers on and off. And again, you've got that call data and analytics at your fingertip. And I can't not mention our live support. We have a fantastic support team. If you're trying to if you're trying to buy or provision or set up any sort of new phone numbers, you can do that with our support's help. And also, anytime you have a call quality issue, they can go take a look at an offending carrier or an offending route, help you make sure you've got a block in place. Really, our call routing software in the cloud is really all about giving you total control, which you're not used to having, because most of you have had 1 or 2 carriers that you trust your calls with. And if they have a problem, you file a help desk ticket and then you wait. And sometimes you wait an hour, sometimes you wait a day or 2 or 3. But at the end of the day, we want to give you the power to research any call routing issues that you have, take full control over it, get maximum savings, but also give you back all that control. Okay, phone numbers. And I already just mentioned this a second ago. We make it really easy to buy new phone numbers, port them, provision them, and control your lines for better quality, right? And to give you total control. So, the old days, we would call that DID origination, DID, direct inward dial. That's another name for a phone number. So you can order as many numbers as you need through our API or our thinQ.io platform. And again, you can port in existing, you can provision new and local and toll-free. You can do a search for the availability of new numbers, select single or group numbers in sequential order. We make it really easy to, check the portability of any numbers that you want to bring over to allow us to, again, then route your calls, do a bulk upload, and again, we have our great customer success team who's here to help. And it really does help you get new numbers set up. And by the way, we also have the best rates for, allowing your phone numbers to be ported over and to live with thinQ over, the other competitors out there. So you save money just on having the phone numbers with us. Then you save money when you start to route calls, with our least cost routing for domestic, toll-free, and international. So no better place to buy and park your phone numbers. But of course, we'd be remiss in not having the ability for you guys to use phone numbers to do text messaging. So, we really go beyond sort of, free text SMS APIs. You use our SMS, MMS APIs to really get that scale, savings, and functionality that you need. Really, what we offer at thinQ is A2P, or application to person text messaging. And most of our customers obviously are using our APIs. So you set it up once inside of your software as a service platform or in whatever software that you are creating to do alerts, notifications, two-factor authentication, whatever it is that you want. And you can do all the things that are listed here. You can do MMS with pictures, videos, and audio. You can have emojis, Unicode, all these things that are listing. And really what we find that most people are looking for is a high-capacity, scalable solution for application-to-person messaging. And the easiest way to do that is with toll-free numbers, right? So you can buy a number of those numbers from us, add them to your software, to your profile, and then allow you to ramp up the scalability of sending the maximum number of allowable messages, per second, per minute, per day, per number. And as you scale, you just simply add more numbers and, you just send your text messages. So we offer texting, great price, great flexibility, easy to port new numbers, buy new numbers, use toll-free, 10 DLC to scale your texting. And again, it's either SMS or MMS. We have a full API feature set. It's very easy to get set up and running, and the savings are great, and that's what it's all about. So texting is one of our fastest growing products that we offer. We also offer, when we go back to phone numbers for a second, two database solutions that are kind of hard to find, but they're built into our system, and it's something that you can add to your account, which is caller ID or CNAM and location routing number or LRN. So really, CNAM, for instance, is all about caller ID. So you can use our REST API in your code to return the caller ID data immediately in the format that you choose. You can they're listed here. Then really what this is all about is preventing telemarketers and scammers from masking their identities, because then you can cross-reference the name field with our caller ID database. By the way, you only pay for the caller ID services that you use. So no matter how many dips that you make to do that cross-checking, that's what you pay for. It's very reasonably priced. So CNAM is one of our first database solutions, and the second one would be we've got CNAM, yes, LRN, that's right, location routing number. So really what LRN is all about is you want to always be checking to make sure that you're paying the correct rate based on the true location of the phone number, whether or not the number is ported. So you can do an LRN dip to look at the geographic information on the number, state, residential code, company name. And again, you pay a very little per dip, for LRN, and you only pay what you need and not what the big carriers charge. And again, and you can do as little or as much LRN dipping as you need, but this is a great way to make sure that you're paying the right rate for every call. And this is one of the foundational elements, obviously, of our least cost routing platform, to make sure that we're checking on these numbers to make sure that the routing is as optimized as possible, so you pay the lowest cost for the highest quality call. And I've been mentioning this throughout the presentation so far as, LCRs, least cost routing, right? So we really have built a system that uses, a version of machine learning to find the least cost route for your phone calls. So when you have a phone number with us, you turn on our least cost routing platform and you start to send calls through us, what'll happen is our software looks at where the phone number is originating and where it's terminating, right? Where it's going outbound to, and it will find the lowest cost route, maybe multiple carriers in the way, maybe one carrier is usually multiple, to make sure that you pay the lowest possible price per phone call. And because we only pick the highest quality carriers, the quality is built in. But the savings is not, because you need some intelligent software to route through the locations that are the lowest possible price for these high quality carriers. And you have full transparency. You can use our PCAP. You look at your caller detail records to see, how the calls are being handled, and you get automatic cost savings. And again, with all of this, all that built in also is outage mitigation, disaster mitigation. So if you do encounter an issue, and we know there's always going to be an issue somewhere at some point, that you have the tools to be able to control the LCR to prevent it from using certain routes and certain carriers if they're having an issue. So our LCR, again, is back to the beginning. Our toll-free least cost routing platform is what we're known for, but just least cost routing in general for our domestic calls as well is also what we're known for. And that comes built in when you put your phone calls, your voice, through thinQ. And really excited to talk about this because it's only been a few months since this has been live, but we used to have two different platforms, one for inbound, one for outbound, and now we've combined them into a beautiful, scalable, really nice looking platform called thinQ.io. And it really has everything in one place, our inbound, our outbound voice and SMS. And what it's for, most people use it is for the setup part of when you come on board with thinQ, is you can use our new workflows to set up route profiles, trunks, route blocks, through a graphical user interface, right? It's all WYSIWYG. What you see is what you get. You can also use it to more easily look up the 40 plus carriers during the route profile setup, or if you're making changes, there are search features built in. You can modify your existing route blocks to save time. And also from a billing perspective, all your invoices, inbound, outbound, SMS, are all in one place. So we're excited in 2021 here that thinQ.io is our platform. Everything's in one place. It's something that we've been working for a while on, and we're just glad to have it all in one place. But of course, that's not all. Really, most people use us from an API integration standpoint. So you may use thinQ.io to do the setup, but then you're going to embed us into your application or your enterprise contact center or your Twilio instance or your SignalWire instance, whatever it is. When you integrate us, it's going to be using our APIs. And that really makes it easy to optimize your calling and your SMS. And what we like to say is, thinQ does not replace Twilio, Nexmo, Plivo, SignalWire. We don't replace them. We are an augmentation of them. So if you think about Twilio for a minute, when you start an application there, both from the voice and of course we're messaging, we are referencing messaging here on this slide. But when you start and you don't have a lot of traffic, actually all these different services that you're going to start with are pretty reasonably priced and you're not going to notice it. But as soon as your application, your platform takes off, that is when people who use Twilio, Nexmo, Plivo, SignalWire, reach out to us, because once there's a certain volume, your cost of goods will go up, and most people don't want to pay more than 10% of their total cost of whatever product or service they're offering to their basic cost of goods, right, for their voice or their messaging. I've heard that many times that we're now at 15, 20, 25%. We got to get that back down to 10. How do we do that? And I'm like, well, come to thinQ and use our APIs and route your voice and messaging through us. And that really allows you to, reduce your cost of goods sold with our APIs. Optimize your call routing, give you those controls, right? Give you total visibility and transparency and scale. Most people, like for instance on Twilio, can only have 1 or 2 calls per second. With us, you can have 10, 15 calls per second right out of the box. You don't have to pay anything extra for that. And of course, really excited that, on the LCR side, we do offer, instead of most carriers having 60-second rounding, in fact, an average Twilio user is still paying for 60-second rounded calls. We offer 6-cent rounding on our calls. That boosts performance and also helps most people save up to 75%. So really excited about everything that we do from an API perspective to augment Twilio, Nexmo, Plivo, SignalWire, or just any application in general to put the best, most cost-effective voice and messaging into your products. And, just a quick example, by the way, this is our newest case study. If you go to our website, you can look under case studies, under resources. You'll see Damon Prater and I had a call a couple of weeks ago. He's with Service Titan, and they support hundreds of local home services type companies. And these guys need to use their calls and receive calls from customers from job sites, and all those calls are routed through thinQ, and it's more than 20 million calls a month. And at the end of the day, we would call them a SaaS, a sales and enablement, sales engagement platform. And Damon came to us because they were having call quality issues. They couldn't control it with, and they have a lot of these home service type folks that use their platform that are in rural areas that have trouble completing calls and having high quality calls. And because we have so many carriers and so many locations and so many ways to deliver the calls, we've really helped to increase our call completion rate enormously and have saved them a tremendous amount of money. So with that, I hope that one of those solutions we've talked about really has sparked your interest, whether it's inbound voice, outbound voice, it's our least cost routing, it's our SMS, MMS. It just keeps on getting better. We'd love to have a conversation with you, and the best way to do that is to very simply, reach out to thinQ. Go to thinQ.com, thinq.com. Click that Get a Demo button. Click the link there, fill in the form, and set up a time. And really, it only takes 15 minutes. We've spent just about 15 minutes together now, and that same amount of time, you can sit with one of our cloud experts, and you can tell us what you need, and we'll see if there's a fit, because we don't want to waste your time. We just want to help you save money, get the best voice and messaging that possible that you can use for your SaaS platform, your marketing or sales engagement platform, for your enterprise call center, or for really any VoIP application. That's what thinQ is really, really, really good for. So with that, I want to say thank you very much for tuning in today, for hearing us out for our monthly product demo. And again, head over to thinQ.com, look around, use the chat feature, talk to one of our cloud experts, or set up a meeting, and let's talk really soon about how we can put our voice and messaging to work for you. Thank you very much.